So you've started your business and you figure that sooner or later you'll have enough money to build an amazing life. Well, that might not be the best approach. Actually, today's conversation is about building an amazing life and building a business around it, not as, I'm going to start that over. You've started a business and you're probably assuming that sooner or later you'll get around to building the life to go with it. That's not necessarily the best way to approach things. You can actually build a successful business around your amazing life. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, here's the show. Welcome to More Than a Few Words, a marketing conversation for business owners. MTFW is part of the Digital Toolbox, and this is your host, Lorraine Ball. And today I am so excited to have Nicole Bandes join me for a conversation about building an amazing life that is supported by your business. She is the founder of the Virtual A Team, a virtual services agency, helping overwhelmed coaches and consultants who want to define success by the wealth of their lives, not the size of their bank account. She's also the host of the Coach's Co-Pilot, your online business manager podcast. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Lorraine, thank you so much. I am so excited to be on today.
I am delighted to have this conversation. So let's dive in. When you say that you can build a successful business around an amazing life, where should I start that process?
You know, there's I read a meme or a quote the other day that says tradition is peer pressure from dead people. And I love that because it's just amazing. It's like we get into this habit of believing that success is all about what our parents had or all about what our grandparents had. And I think the best place to start designing a business that works around your life is to decide that you're not going to follow in those traditions, that peer pressure from dead people.
I'm going to have that printed and put on the back of my car. I absolutely love
I know,
that.
I think I have to have t-shirts made for that.
I think so. So I've made a commitment. I want to have a business. I'm not going to fall into the trap of working the way my parents did or my grandparents did, and I'm going to start building this business. But how do I keep it balanced? How do I make sure that I don't fall into those traps?
That's a great question. And I think really it's about being aware. I have this belief system that there's no such thing as balance because balance determines that there's an equal amount on both sides. And that's not how life works. There are going to be times when you're working more in your business and you spend less on your life. But the harmony comes in when you also have that opportunity to pick up and take more vacations or spend more time with family or commit time to passion projects. That's the harmony. So it's finding that harmony instead of balance and knowing that I've got a launch coming up, or I'm creating a new product, or something like that means that I have to dedicate more time to my business right now. But on the back end of that, I have more time to commit to my family and me and all of those other wonderful things.
I love that word. I love that word harmony because it really reframes how you think about managing your time and where you spend your time. I actually decided last fall I was going to take a month-long vacation, and I worked like a crazy person up till the moment that I walked out the door so that I could completely turn off for 30 days. And it was a very harmonious experience.
It's amazing, isn't it? I have had times in my life where I had to take a step back from my business because of things that were going on with my family. And then I've had other times where I took 7 weeks on an RV trip and I scaled back to less than 2 hours a day working. And I was very deliberate when I created my business to say, these things are important for me. They're more important than the size of my bank account. Yes, I have to have a bank account that sustains my lifestyle, but I don't have to have a bank account that's flashy and showy and includes the Lamborghinis and the mansions and all of those stuff that we see all over Instagram. To me, it was the opportunities to live that thriving life that were way more important.
So, as I'm thinking about trying to do this, are there tips, tricks, tools that I can use that will allow me to create a business but still manage my time? What have you relied on?
Time management is kind of one of those beasts that you get into it and you could go down a rabbit hole and we could be here all day long. I could teach an entire week long seminar on time management. But at the core of it, what we're talking about is cutting back all of the extra things, eliminate anything that's not necessary. And resist that urge to chase after the next shiny object, or oh my gosh, you know what, I'm going to be on every social media platform, or I'm going to create every possible product or service that might lead to more business. Scale way back and get super focused and be very strategic. I love that word around time management, is being very strategic. I'm not too busy to spend time on things. I'm very strategic with the way that I use my time.
Absolutely. The idea that you choose what you're going to spend time on and what you're not, which leads to the question of doing things yourself or delegating, because there are things that have to get done, but maybe they don't necessarily have to get done by you. How do you decide when it's time to delegate, hire, outsource? What are some of your little checkpoints there?
You know, I mean, I see it seems a little cliche, but there's never the wrong time to start delegating or outsourcing. I mean, even at the very beginning of a business, if you have enough funds to hire somebody to do your website, by all means, hire somebody to do your website. For most business owners, they sort of start out with this guerrilla mentality where they need to do everything themselves in order to begin bringing money in. And that's not a bad way to get started. But at some point in time, you have to realize that you're spending more time doing things that are taking you away from the things that are making that cash register sing. And if you can focus in and say, you know what, I'm going to take the things off my plate that are the least exciting for me to do, but most important. Bookkeeping, that's one for me. I hate bookkeeping. Not my math is not my zone of genius and I don't like doing it, but it absolutely positively has to get done. So that's definitely something that I'm going to take off my plate. So those things that are less interesting but have to be done, or the things that you're procrastinating on and are going to really make a difference in your business. If you can spend just a little bit more time on social media, because you're not spending any time on social media. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want you going down that rabbit hole either. It's You can delegate out that piece of it and have significant returns on that time that you've just invested in doing other things, so that you can be doing that call with the client or creating a new program that only you can do. So those are the kind of things that you want to get started with.
Absolutely. I remember when I first started the business, my neighbor was a stay at home mom, and I would bring her stacks of business cards from networking events. And I would hand her the stack, and she would fire off personal notes to all the people. She would get them into a database for me so I could follow up. And I built this reputation as being this wonderful networker. And I wasn't doing any of it.
Isn't
But
that brilliant?
I built all of these quality conversations and great relationships, and I could spend my time going to another networking event, meeting more people, and not worrying about the follow up. So I think that's a really good tip. This has just been a fabulous conversation, Nicole, and I really want to encourage anybody who's listening. If you think you might need a little bit of help, you want to check out the virtual A team, because this is a group of people who can take those tasks off your plate. And also take some time when you're done listening to this episode to listen to the Coach's Co-Pilot, your online business manager podcast. Nicole, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you, Lorraine. I appreciate it.
This was fun. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, if you'd like to find other resources for your business, be sure to check out digitaltoolbox.club. Look at our training page for webinars and self-paced courses, worksheets, workbooks, quizzes, and more. This has been another episode of More Than a Few Words. Thanks for listening.